Hello everyone, welcome to Shadow League 100. Here we are going to be explaining on some notations you are going to be needing to know if you're going to be progressing down the line. Even if you are a beginner, you would still need to, know some notations. Now I am going to be covering every single notation there is on the Rubik's Cube. So it's going to take a while, so yeah, just sort of chill and look at all the notations there are. Now I will have this finished cube over here demonstrating every single notation there is and there will be. So I'll be starting off with the XYZ. Now for the X, it's supposed to be the X-axis of the cube. So what it means is that this is going to be the Y-axis, this is the X-axis, and this right through the cube of the sign here, going right through, is going to be the Z-axis. So what the X-axis means is this part. So when you see an X in a notation part, you have to go like this, clockwise, like so. So if you have an X prime or an X apostrophe, you need to go like this. The X is over here, so you have to sort of see the X-axis clockwise over here. Clockwise would mean a normal X. Counterclockwise would mean an apostrophe X or a prime X prime. So yeah, it's supposed to be clockwise on every single face for the notation it's on. So for the Y-axis, it's going to be like this, coming from up to down. So when you see an Y for your notations, it would be clockwise on this face, like this. So it would be, a Y would be like this, and a Y prime would look like this. Now for the Z, you don't actually see a lot of Z and Z primes in the notation, but I still think that you have to cover it. Now a Z is from the front of your cube to the back of your cube, pointing in that direction. So a Z prime would look like this, and a Z would look like this. Now we've covered the XYZ. Now let's go on to the double layer turns. Double layer turns are, part of the notations you need to know. Like for example, the little u is like this, double layer turn, and a u prime, little u prime would look like this. Now a little d would look like this. Now a little d prime would look like this. An I, or an L, a little l would look like this. And an L prime would look like this. Now for the little r would look like this. And a little r prime would look like this. And as for the little f, would look like this. And a little f prime would look like this. And a little b would look like this. And a little b prime would look like this. Okay, now we have to turn to the slice moves now. Slice moves are moving the middle pieces like so. And yeah, slice moves look like that. So big E would look like this. E prime would look like this. E2 would be, of course, 180. We don't have to cover that. And as for the M, would be going down, like that. M prime would be up. M2 would be obviously another 180. And as for the S, would be the middle part of this. And S prime would be backwards. S2 would be obviously 180 and down the middle part of it. Now we are going to be going on to the standard moves, which is more of a breather for everyone, because these are so easy to learn. An R would look like this. An R prime would look like this. An F would look like this. And an F prime would look like this. Of course these are all big letters, because we've already covered the small letters. Now the big B would look like the back part of this. And the B prime would be this. And the R prime we've covered already. And R2 would be 180 on the right side. Like that. And F2 would be 180 on the front side of your cube. And B2 would be 180 on the back side of your cube. And big U would look like this. And U prime, big U prime would look like this. D would look like this. D prime would look like this. L would look like this. And L prime would look like this. Now we've covered almost everything except for the 180s, which I don't think you would actually need to know. Like for example, 180 for U would look like this. And 180 for D, which means D2, would look like this. And 180 for the L, which is our left-handed side, would look like this. Now that's about it for the notations part. I think I've covered almost every single aspect of it, and I'm hoping that this will make notations and algorithms more clearer for people who don't actually know how to do it. And I'm hoping that some people would start to get better at this. And thanks for watching again.